Hello, everybody, and welcome to the finale of the collective. Once again, let's give a big shout out and congratulations to Keaton and Minor for making it all the way to the end. So I guess we'll get right into opening speeches. Um, as you both know, you guys have a total combination of 9 minutes between your opening and closing statements. Once you are done, we will have the jury go. They will each have 7 minutes to ask their questions. And after that, you guys will then get 10 minutes to um you will have 10 minutes to decide to send your vote, and then we'll go through the votes and then all the fun stuff afterwards. Um Keaton, since you won the last challenge, you will decide on who goes first for opening speeches, and then that person will go last for closing speeches.
Minor will go first for opening. I need every minute I can to get to this Beer Otter Festival faster. So Minor will go first in opening, last in closing.
Okay, awesome. And with that, if anyone has any questions, let Prod know. But I think with that, we can go right into it. So, Minor, the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. My game going into this, I didn't know how to play it. But I realized that I needed to be more like observant and more social of trying to get to know everyone, and then also trying to figure out how people were falling with each other throughout the game. So the game basically it's what happened before Buckley leaked the group and then what happened afterwards. But throughout the whole entire time, I was observing, trying to see who was being with who was close to who, who was close with each other, who they were talking to, who they weren't talking to, and then just go and then be adaptable. So like since we don't know who will be in the collective, I just played it round by round until later into the game where I had somewhat of a strategy. Um, I, yeah. um, I'll I'll answer any questions you guys have. I think that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Minor. We will stop your time for that. And then Keaton, the floor is yours. We will also give you, Minor, how much time you have left when we come to the closing speeches.
I'm going to go.
Yes, I'm sorry. You can go now.
All right. There was a question that we were asked at the start before this game started, and I don't remember the exact wording, but I do know roughly it was asked. There's an inner circle. There's people you're going to have to play with to get to the end. How do you feel about working in a team? And I said, I don't think I have to. It's a trap. And I set out to try and make that true. I did not believe that working with people within your group was going to be the call, and rather branching out and figuring out how to play with people that know they can't take you to the end, but can still play with you for as long as possible. To the jury, it's been nothing but love to play with all of you. I have enjoyed the heck out of this experience, and I hope that I can show why I deserve to win this game. To Minor, we did the thing, and hopefully we don't get sad after this, but we did it, and one of us is going to win, and I cannot wait to see who it is. And to Prod, I've already told you enough, but thank you once more. This has been an absolute joy. I would also say that my game kind of hits the two different phases. It's before the Evelyn Noah nom set and after. Um, Before it was trying to keep it under the radar strategy and try to not look as a threat. I know how I sometimes can come across, so I tried to balance that as much as possible. Focus on the social connections and figure out who I wanted to play this game with. I'd say the four most important connections to me for this game was Lake, Fred, Cody, and Evelyn. I think without them at certain points in this game, I don't get to where I am. But I had also know when they needed to depart. For Lake, it was never. That was my final four. Him and I were trying to ride through this game all the way to the end, and I showed that with my risky ass move at 6, but knowing that I would not leave there. He was no matter what. I wanted us to get the 4, and without Minor voting me, that happens. And with that, with my time with Lake, we pulled in Fred, and with Fred, myself, and Lake together, we made the Mikey move happen. Convinced Fred to do it, but ultimately, it was the three of us together coming up. I Once the circles got exposed, I felt like we were playing a completely different game. Once the Evelyn Noah set happened, we all knew everything for the most part, and it felt like we were playing a completely different game of trying to figure out what is the best route to get to the end with so few rounds left. And that came to a head to me at 9 when I had to choose whether Lake had to go finally and keep my circle of 3 in that plan together, or turn on Chloe. I ultimately decided to turn on Chloe, one, because I really wanted to stick to my deal with Lake, but I also thought that at that point I had an okay shot at the end because other groups are going for each other before me, and I already knew that round that Noah was trying to get me up and out, so I could not risk that happening again with myself or possibly Minor because I knew that he needed to get to the end too. So I took the shot at Chloe and just prayed that the competitions would be in our favor. Myself or Minor was able to win one of the last 3 shots, and amazingly, I did with the worst comp record out of the 4 by a long shot, was still able to get a comp that I did not think I would be able to beat Cody and Timmy in. I cannot wait to answer all of your questions. Please, God, roast the hell out of me. I deserve it. I know the clown ass that I've been to you guys, and I'm sorry if my words have ever made you feel bad. I know that sometimes I can come off abrasive, and I do genuinely apologize for that, but I hope I can explain myself well and show that I'm a deserving winner of the collective season 1.
Awesome. Thank you, Keenan. Your time will also be stopped. And with that, we are going to do all the fun stuff and go into the jury. Jacob, Mr. Adorno, if you are here, you will be up first. Like I mentioned, you will have 7 minutes, and the lovely Lily will also be giving you some warnings when your time is almost up. And with that, your time will be start when you start speaking. Thank you.
See, this is why you shouldn't make me the first juror, because that you give me the chance to talk. But no, either way, Key and Minor, congratulations on making it to final 2. I've hosted games where y'all have both won before, so I very much understand your strategies in navigating from one point to the game to the next one. I had like a speech about how I feel about the two of you, but it subsided because I'm not bitter against the two of you. I feel as though you guys both played the games that you needed to get to that point. And I kind of want to say that during the jury questioning, the jurors are looking for what your specific roles were in getting each other there, because y'all are essentially a symbiotic relationship, in the sense that at the beginning of the game, we only saw the 3 only people we could possibly make final 2 with, and by the time that y'all went down to 2 after Chloe got sent home, how were y'all able to work together to get the 2 of you to the end? Because like in Survivor Big Brother, you could talk about how you got yourself there, and but in this sense, you can't get to the end without somebody from your circle. But that's not what my question is. We're gonna close our eyes. There's hand raising involved and there's jurors involved, but it's not the question you think. So you guys are gonna close your eyes right now, please. And instead of when I name a juror, you're not gonna raise your hand if you think you'd get their votes. You'd raise your hand if you think if they were in your circle, if you could beat them at the end. I think that's as simple as it gets. All right, so if you were in a circle with Laura, raise your hand if you think you would beat Laura at the end. Okay. Next one. Raise your hand if you think you were in a circle you'd beat me at the end. Raise your hand if you think you were in a circle with Eric, you could beat him at the end. Raise your hand if you think you were in the same circle as Noah, if you could beat him. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you think you could beat Lake at the end. Raise your hand if you think you could beat Buckley at the end. Raise your hand if you think you could beat Cody at the end. Raise your hand if you think you could beat Timmy at the end. Okay, well, that concludes that session. Because y'all both gave y'all answers to each other. I didn't want y'all to both piggybacking off of one another, so that's why I made y'all close your eyes. I'm gonna start with Keaton. Keaton, you raised your hand for a majority of those people. I think all but 2. So explain, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I think I just played a really strong game. I think I consistently had control of my own fate and was always having a very safe path to get to this point up until I actively put myself on the block through the tie. I was never at risk in this game. And throughout the early portions of the game, I had at least two people willing to consistently save me to the point where Timmy said he was going to save me. And I said, no, someone else is already doing that. I'm sorry. Like, I had, and I also had control again with Fred. I convinced him to get Mikey up and out and lie about it in the process. And with the Chloe vote, it was all on me. That was my decision in the end. I let other people convince me that they were trying to convince me, but my decision was locked from moment one, and Lake and Buckley both knew that. It was my decisions through what I thought was best for my game that got me here, and through that, I believe that regardless of who I was with, I could get myself to this point.
All right, Minor. We're going over to you. There's a couple people you raised your hand for. I think it's like more so 50-50. A couple were a bit uncertain, but you still raised your hand for. So again, this is your chance to explain.
Yeah, just because I'm more of like, I guess, under the radar, like calm person. More people are more like outspoken, and people know like, oh, these people are making the like moves in the game. I do take the back end and do more calculated stuff. So I just sometimes is not seen, and so sometimes the jury doesn't acknowledge it as, oh, you're doing stuff if you're too quiet. Well, not too quiet, but like you're quiet instead of someone who's like saying, oh, this is my move, this is what I'm doing, and then like, yeah, like bam.
I respect the honesty from both of you. Like one being like, yes, I think I could be a majority of y'all because I think I played a very strong game, being very firm and very confident. That, and the other saying, there's a couple people I don't think would appreciate the under the radar strategy. At the end of the day, this is the first time anyone has played a game like this. This is we're the guinea pigs in this experiment. So who's to say what is right and what is wrong to do in each certain situation and what philosophy of the game is better? And maybe tonight will show which is better and which will prevail for future seasons down the road. And the last thing I want to talk about or ask about is during my round. Because Keaton, you said that you were certain about your decisions and you wanted to give off the impression that it was liable to be swayed, it was liable to be convinced. And you mentioned at the beginning, like wording and like how you come off as abrasive. I've never seen you come off as abrasive to me, but I guess the closest thing to that was when we got on call, the round you all got into the collective, and I ended up going on the block and saying, Jacob, let's be real. No one's gonna save you. And no, it did save me. It was Laura. So just were you certain that Noah was it was me and Noah in a circle? Was that something that you genuinely thought, or did you already know I need to get Jacob out? Jacob cannot be saved in a sense.
1 minute left. 1 minute.
My reaction with you was genuine. I had a misread. I will say, if I realize the reality, I don't think what I do changes. I still think it's a very, very, very good move, and someone I don't think is going to work with me, and someone who's very good at comps. Those two things combined are quite dangerous for my game. So I don't think I change anything, but my reaction with you is genuine. I flubbed it on the read a little bit. And yeah, I thought you were good and you weren't.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's the only question that I had for the two of y'all. Best of luck to the both of y'all. Keep it up. I think these are pretty solid answers. I was, yeah, just do what y'all got to do. Be unapologetic. Be honest. Own up to your game. Walk through some of the relationships. Aside from the ones that y'all highlighted in your opening speeches, what relationships you guys had to foster. I said I was leaning towards one way, but I'm still open based off of the performances and the quality of the other answers. So best of luck to you both.
That is time. Perfect.
We love a perfect time. Okay, thank you, Jacob. The next juror is going to be our first juror, and it will be Laura. Laura, the floor is yours.
Hey everyone. So Keaton Minor, congratulations. I mean, you made it to the end, which is something that none of us can say we did. So for that, applause. That being said, I'm sorry I missed your opening speeches. I got tied up doing something, but I also was not at the round table, so you're gonna kind of get my unfiltered. I haven't really bounced a lot of this off of people. I have no idea what kind of game either of you were playing. And honestly, you are two of the people that I very much could say I was referring to when I left talking about jury management. Because Jacob and I were on the jury after round 3, after Ruthie left. So I played 7 rounds with you guys where I knew for a fact I was going to be on the jury, and it was very obviously someone I was playing with is going to win and have to get my vote. That being said, I don't think either of you put in any time or effort to get to know certain people that you just felt like wouldn't further your game. And that's fine, except that now you have at least one juror in me who says, I have no idea how to justify voting for either of you because I don't feel a personal connection and I have no idea what your games looked like. So let me start with a couple questions because I guess I want to see where your strategies truly laid. Like if you were really simply just talking to certain people that you thought could further your game or what you were kind of thinking. So Minor, I'd like to start with you. And I would like to ask you to name something personal about me, like as a person, as someone you would get to know, that you would not learn about me by just looking at any of my social media. Tell me about myself.
Yeah, to be clear, yeah, we did not connect throughout the game. I know we did message a little bit, but we just how everything ended up, we missed each other most of the times with messaging. So
I don't know about that because I mean, I could tell you, I mean, obviously your birthday, everyone knew was April 4th, but I knew that before people because we talked about it. I know that you got Brazilian food the night on your birthday, like a big restaurant where you go and they bring different meats around and things like that. It's like these little personal conversation and touches that lead to a social game where you're not just like talking straight game with people, you're actively showing people like not only do you want to game with me, but I'm someone that I would like to sit down and have a beer with at the end of the day. And it just feels like you gave 0 effort into getting to know me. So why should I vote for you?
But yeah, that's on my part. Yeah. I like yeah, like personal, like we didn't connect. So like I can't be like I deserve your vote. Like so I guess just the way I answer the questions. Like I did want to get to know you better, but it was mostly on my part.
Okay. It's interesting that you didn't even try and fight for my vote there. You basically just said you don't deserve it. But I mean, I'll take that into consideration. Keaton, I feel like you and I had more of a rapport, but the same question goes to you. Tell me something about myself that you would only learn by having like an actual, genuine, personal conversation with me, because clearly we weren't talking game. So tell me about myself.
I don't think I could. I don't want to sit here and try to act like I could. I truly think that our schedules did not align well, and I say that because of the fact that I worked late consistently. Things consistently fell apart for me. And I am the person who dropped the ball in our relationship. I know that for a fact. That was a big thing I highlighted for myself a couple days ago. I know that I did that. You're someone that I wanted to get to know because when we were in public settings, I really did enjoy your energy, but I couldn't make the time with everything else I was doing, and that is fully on me. But I still think with the game that I played and the way that I play it, that I feel like you would appreciate that style. I'd like to hope. If not, I got the read wrong there. But I feel like I played a really strong game that was more on my own than trying to fully rely with Minor, and I think I can, with my words, show that I deserve it. Because that's the
That
only route I have. I don't have that connection, so I just need to show you my game because that's all I have.
right. And speaking of your game, I will just say to both of you, it was definitely a letdown when so Evelyn told me that you were both in her circle after the second vote. I knew your entire circle from like day 5 or 6. I didn't tell
1
anyone.
minute
I
left.
I
1 minute
hinted to people that I knew, and no one was brave enough to ask. But what disappointed me the most was that you two seemed to really leave Chloe and Evelyn out to dry. I know, granted, this was a game where there were only 5 women compared to 15 of the guys, but you both just admitted you took no time to get to know me, one of the minorities that could have worked with you. And that's why the 5-person alliance was created, was because it seemed like Evelyn's circle, you all, didn't have her back, didn't have my back, and didn't have a lot of people's backs. So with that, I just want to ask one more question of both of you. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Minor,
28.
I'll let you start.
Oh, okay.
13.
Okay.
I'm second to it. 28. I said 28 before. 28.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both very much. I appreciate your honesty and your candor.
That is time.
Good luck.
Thank you so much, Laura. Next up, we are gonna go with Eric. So Eric, the floor is yours.
Hey, hey, beautiful people. I'm at work, so don't mind me if I just get up and leave. I have a question here for Minor. I do have a pretty good understanding of what Keaton's game was like, but I think Minor, me and you probably didn't get like, the best like game combos going throughout the game. So I do want to hear you out, because I love you both as people, and I think you both play great games to get here. So let's hear it. Minor, you stated that being under the radar was a part of your game, which worked well for you early on to keep your like 4 around the longest than any other circle. But with that kind of control, how did you capitalize on that strategically, especially finding yourself getting pretty much most of the information in the game from like Evelyn, Cody, Timmy? How do you basically use that to get yourself here?
I actually did not trust Evelyn. She didn't talk to me. So I got my information by just like watching people, how they interacted and everything. Because I called that Jacob was with Laura. I told Keaton, he did not, he was like, no, it's the other way around. So my information was getting it from the few people that did talk game a little bit with me. So like I talked with you a little bit until the bridge was our bridges were burned. I got some information from Jacob. I got some from Buckley. Like it wasn't like getting like full on like, oh, this is what's happening and everything. It's just like tidbits that I was able to put together of like who was with who was working with each other. Because that's why the people that I couldn't trust, like Evelyn, that branched out to the other people that I was like, I had to be more careful with. Just in case I say something and they could use it against me.
Right. I do want to ask, since like I guess it wasn't more of your like, you weren't getting the information that you were getting, but like I guess since you were in that position where like, you weren't getting that information, like, but you did have kind of the understanding of like where everyone was at, like circle wise, like how did you use that strategically to get yourself past the point where like it got to a round where everyone knew? So like how did you use that before it got to that round to put yourself further in the game then?
So I used that information to get close with Cody. Because I knew he was gonna do well in the comps. So like if he won, I wanted to better my relationship with him. I knew Lake was with Keaton. And me and Lake, we just didn't like match up. But I knew we were good with because Keaton had him. So I tried to talk a little bit with AJ. I got information from him. Buckley a little bit. So just moving forward, I was trying to figure out which way and which position to myself, because I knew that me and Keaton wouldn't be the majority of the target. So just moving with around with Cody, Timmy, Lake, and Buckley, and then Noah a little bit, because Noah did talk game a little bit, but not as much. The intent was there. But yeah, just trying to maneuver myself, try to figure out who is with who and who was there, which helped me deciding towards the end of the game, like, okay, so this is what people are thinking, and this is how me and Keaton could make it to the final four and potentially made it to the final two.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Quick question for you, Keaton. How pissed off were you when you found out that I was not in a circle with Laura?
Not too annoyed. Sure, you and Laura going out together probably would have been good for me just because I knew there was a weaker game relationship there as opposed to say Jacob Noah, but finding out it ended up being Jacob Laura again was fine for me. I said this before. It turned into someone that I didn't have a good game relationship with and someone who's really good at comps, which I think arguably was better because at that point we're falling into a point where you guys were going after Cody and Timmy because you had to before me anyway, so there was still a priority target. So overall, it was still good for me. I know what I got the read wrong, of course, because when you think you got something right and you're wrong, yeah, no, it stings. But reading it, I don't do anything differently.
Cool. Sounds good. Sorry, my coworkers tell me I'm all good. I reserve the rest of my time, whatever it's called. You guys both play great games. I'm just gonna listen out and see what I'm voting for. Much love. Thanks for answering my questions.
Thank you so much, Eric. With that, we'll go to the next juror, Noah. Noah, the floor is yours.
Hi. Sorry, I'm coughing because I'm sick. I couldn't even attend my own funeral when I got banished because I was sleeping indefinitely, but it wasn't out of malice or disrespect to anyone. I appreciate everyone in this game, and congrats. Whew, catch my breath. On making it to the end. My first question is minor. Early on in the game, I tried establishing a game strategic relationship with you. I had a call with Timmy and I had a call with you separately, trying to set up something between different circles or something. But it was really not picked up as much as I thought it could have been. What was your thought process early on in the game where you had more strategic maneuverment to, is that a word, maneuvering to make compared to where you were isolated with the people you were with at the end game? Because you did have multiple opportunities to work with me, game talk early on, and develop that relationship as much as I was trying to with you, I felt.
Yeah, so it's like two things. Because when you suggested working together, I wanted to and build that up. But when you suggested Timmy, I was like, because I don't like being put in the box. Oh, we're together. Like, oh, they're gonna work together. Like it happened after Evelyn, that with my relationship with Cody, that's when I fully started working with Timmy. But so like early on, I wanted to branch out. But you suggesting Timmy, I wanted to separate it and then have me and you talk, but we didn't really end up talking too much game. It was just a little just like little tidbits. But it just never fully got onto like an actual like game.
I do remember like saying like, I know you're not scared to go after Timmy and talking about that because like, I don't know if it was naive of me to assume like you wouldn't target Timmy right away in a game, but like inevitably you voted out your own circle mate, I assume, and you can correct this because I'm sure you'll be asked about it, to cause a tie to give Timmy a chance. So if you're inevitably in hindsight gonna end up working with Timmy, or that option was never off the table, why was I put off the table right away.
Oh, no, that one I would have voted. If me and Lake had more game connection, I would have voted out Cody and Timmy. But it was just because Keaton made that move. I read that situation. I knew Lake and Buckley weren't gonna vote because they wouldn't want the tie again. So I made it strategic. I was like, I want Lake and Buckley out. Just because after the whole situation, I knew Cody might have been like frazzled with everything. So he wouldn't be too focused in the challenge. But yeah, I would have
Yeah,
if
but does that also mean like I don't want to assume again, but wouldn't that make your own partner frazzled that someone would vote? I don't know. That was putting a lot of pressure on Keaton and yourself technically, because like if Keaton didn't pull through with that, then y'all would have been. I don't know. I don't know, but I think I have enough from you right now, Minor. So thank you. I appreciate it. You both look amazing, and then Keaton, I just want to say like, what is your perception on our relationship in this game before I ask like my next question? Just like briefly.
I don't think it's great. I think that we got along well as people. Like I didn't like when I was able to call you, I was happy to, and you were a company I enjoyed. I had to cut calls short because I was a busy motherfucker doing 18 fucking things at once, like an absolute clown ass. But I think we had a decent like personal connection. I just game wise, we had a couple things together, but for the most part, it fell through.
Okay, well, I just want to applaud you because you made me feel really comfortable in this game. So like personally and game wise, strategically, like I applaud you because like I felt really good with our relationship in the game. Not to say like you didn't either, but like you obviously had stronger ones. But like where I was in the game, like I did like think we were good and we were good, but like you had other deals too. But like so this is like not me dissing you. This is like a good job. Like I don't want you to think we had a bad relationship at all because like all our talks, everything was good. And I really did appreciate that, even until the last day when we sent a few messages. And so like I really appreciate that. So thank you. I guess I want to ask you, I guess I have a few questions. Was there like a final five alliance with Chloe, Timmy, Cody, Minor, and you?
Not one that was made. I think that was probably the approach for Chloe and Minor. I never wanted that because I felt like that puts me high dead in the water and that would completely screw me. So I personally would have never asked for it myself, which is why I do eventually vote out Chloe at 9 because especially with you targeting me in part, I know there's someone in the game that doesn't want me in particular here. So if I can stop that at least from happening and shift the target of you away from me onto Cody Eric, no, sorry, Cody Timmy, sorry, frazzled. It benefits me more as well.
Yeah, and also I just remembered when Jacob was asking who you think you could beat in the final two, you didn't raise your hand for Eric or myself. So what's that? What's your like? Why do you think you couldn't beat us in a final two? Or was
1
that
minute
just
left.
I think Eric just had a very unique way of approaching this game that you could not achieve in any other format beyond this one, and I think that would just get too much respect. And I don't think no matter how well I played, I could out speak that. And then for you, I just think you had really good connections with everyone consistently. Everyone kept saying how good they felt with you. So when you eventually pulled a move on someone, it would be a blinder and they'd be surprised. And I feel like a lot of people would respect that in this format and in a game where you know someone's going to turn on you and you can make them feel good and still feel surprised when it happens. So for both of you, I feel like for both those reasons, it would be hard for me, given my game, to beat either of you.
Okay, and last quick Minor, sorry. When I was pitching to you for Keaton to go the round, Keaton, no shade, because I was scared by Keaton, and Keaton's in the final two now. So look what you like. I mean, not gonna. Hey, I called a spade, as we like to say. But Minor, were you actually considering going after Keaton when I was pitching you, or was it like dead ass? Like, because if you're like, I'm scared, I can't beat. I don't think I can get to the end, and I need Keaton to help me with comps, and just say
That
that.
is time. I can let Minor say yes or no to the question.
Okay, I got a thumbs up, so
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank you, Lily.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Noah. On to the next person that we will be having is the one and only John Buckley. John, the floor is yours.
Hello, gentlemen and Keaton. So I don't, first of all, Noah stole my question, first of all. But I feel unresolved in your answer, Minor. So I'm gonna go back to it. At final 6, of the other 2 pairs, even if you were working with Cody and Timmy, Cody had been saying all day to me that he was prepping a spreadsheet, that he was very actively studying. You did end up pulling it. Well, Keaton ended up pulling it out. I don't necessarily believe that Lake and I going was your best move there. So I just want to understand from your perspective, like, why Lake and I leaving was a good move. And I don't want to hear the Cody's frazzled, because Cody won a shit ton of comps, and I personally don't believe that answer.
Well, I almost won that challenge too. I was just 2 people away. I, to be honest, I guess I just didn't want to give Keaton what he wanted. um, the, I, yeah, it was just that, just not give Keaton what he wanted.
So can I add then that I was about 1 second away from flipping my vote, because I didn't want either of you in the final 4. And the only reason I didn't was because I was certain that why would either of you flip on each other? So if I had done that impulsive thing in that moment, y'all 2 would have left because of that. So that's what I want to get into perspective there. So that's where I wanted to add that part in. The second thing I wanted to ask you about was the final 9 round. When Keaton saved Lake and I from going home. And where did you think the votes were going, Minor, that round?
So that when Keaton wanted,
I don't want to, I know what Keaton
Yeah.
wanted. I know
Yeah,
what Keaton wanted. Where did you think the votes were going?
I wanted Lake on. So like so that's like the only time I lied about my vote was with you and Lake, because I thought I had Keaton and Cody and Timmy wanted you guys gone, because I wanted Chloe to stay. Chloe was my my partner in crime in this game. So
It was very evident. What I'm getting at here is, knowing Lake and I were going to be on the jury, and you knew in your mind that we were leaving. Why would you lie to us all day about it? Like, what purpose was that serving your game? Because that left a sour taste in my mouth, and was honestly the reason I wanted you 2 gone from that moment. And the only reason I didn't was because Lake had such a good relationship with Keaton. Like, it just didn't make any sense. It was not a good social play, I don't think, in my personal opinion. So I just
I knew it wasn't. I just wanted to make that move to take another pair out. It didn't work out. But yeah, I just did what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Keaton, I do want to applaud you, because I think that the way you played this game was phenomenal. I think that the way that you mastered both the art of fending for yourself, but also fending for your circle, is something that should be studied next time this game is played. And I think it was really well done. With that being said, what do you think was your biggest mistake in the game?
I think my biggest mistake in the game was letting out part of my circle so early. As early as round 3, I tell Lake and Fred that I have Evelyn, and then within the next couple rounds, when it's Evelyn and Mikey, I tell Cody that Evelyn's in my circle. And he lets me know that Mikey's there. While I think it did benefit me, I do think that was the biggest error I had. I don't feel like I needed to duet those people, because I don't think the trust changes heavily with any of them. And it could have easily exposed me to getting targeted for the very reason, with other people finding out with their circles learning this information, because they could easily share it and never act like they have it. So I do think that is probably the biggest error I had. One thing I do want to comment on what you were talking about with Minor. Minor actively acknowledged to me that going against you guys in a Web of Clues challenge would be better. Acknowledge that, and still did not want to do it. So there's that.
I mean, it's, for me, like at some point you have to drop the like the alliances part. Like for me, alliances were done at Final 8. Like once we were at 8, like you're playing like defend for yourself and like what's best for you. I think that could have easily backfired because of, you know, Cody and even Timmy. I'm not even gonna like sit here and act like Timmy's not good at this kind of challenges, because he is. That's just the kind of comp player he is. I felt like it was a very costly move that could have really fucked y'all up. So that's all I really have to say, honestly. I wish you both the best of luck. I love you both immensely as people. I just had a lot of questions after that. So all right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Much appreciated. Next, we're just gonna keep on the order I said. So Cody, the floor is yours.
Holy shit. Okay, I was actually just gonna prepare to ask a question from Lake because I thought he wasn't gonna be here, but turns out he is. So first off, I want to say, holy shit, congrats. You two did it. Like, I'm so incredibly frustrated, yet so incredibly proud of both of you. Like, I cannot put that into words. I kind of have a couple questions, and I'm trying to just base them off of like some of the critiques that were sort of said in the jury chat that may or may not have already been discussed. So first, starting with Minor, it was kind of discussed, well, not kind of, it was discussed how you and Timmy were both in this game, and that can somehow create like an imbalance of power between other people, as you two have a very close relationship outside of this game. So just kind of run me through how you feel having Timmy within this game impacted it, whether it was for better or whether it was for worse.
I want to say it went a little bit more towards like the negative side. Because I most of my game was observing and everything. Because no one really wanted to talk too much game with me because they would just assume I was gonna tell Timmy. Like the only people who was willing to talk like actual game was you and Jacob until a certain point with Jacob, because he started being like weird. So like I knew I didn't really have like the much going forward that much game talk. But you were like the closest one with besides like Keaton and Chloe, who actually was willing and saw that I didn't just want to be pinned with Timmy. Because when we went on calls, you saw that I hid when Timmy would walk in. I did like everything away from Timmy and everything. So I think it was like more,
Respect.
so it was just more negative because I didn't get that much chance to talk game with people because just because they thought I would just automatically tell Timmy.
It's fair. And honestly, like if I tell you something and you tell Timmy, I don't personally give a shit because I only had Timmy in a circle at one point. Keaton, you kind of have the kind of like game personality of always gonna do something chaotic, not necessarily stupid. So how did you necessarily play that to your advantage, or did you feel that that was more of a hindrance to you as you tried to navigate this game?
I kind of came in this with a fuck it we ball attitude. I could not expect I'd get to this point, so I played trying to get here, but made moves understanding that it might not happen. I think the two biggest things were I think the two biggest risks and votes that I took were technically three. First time was when I voted Chloe when an 8-7 on Sierra, Chloe very easily leaving and then my game entirely changing. Still think it was good for me, but that could have easily impacted my entire game. At 9 when I do vote out Chloe, because now I'm going into duo territory, but I think my read on the situation is that a bunch of people don't want to go for me for at least one round. So hoping that in the event that I can't win a challenge or Minor can't win a challenge, we can move on. And then at 6, where I do the 6th thing.
That was a fever dream. I'll say that.
I was betting on the fact that Lake could convince Buckley that because of my relationship with him, it made more sense to keep us as opposed to you guys. And thankfully, that's exactly what happened. And without minoring all over the floor, I get my way. Which was a fever dream within itself, and I thought if I could pull that off, I'm gonna do it. Other time where I was like, fuck, if I can pull it off, I'm gonna do it. When I lied about the Chloe vote, literally only reason I lied about it was to see if Timmy would throw. That was it. I didn't think it would hinder me negatively beyond that, so I just went with it and then hid it as long as I could because I didn't want to have the conversation because I was busy and couldn't have the conversation I would have liked to about it.
That's fair. I will say, within all of that, I do love that there is an alternate world where me and John walk into the sunset at Final Four because I don't think either of us wanted that for each other. So it would have been hysterical. I guess just to ask as well, because I think that everyone has things that they wish that they did differently. Both of you just rapid fire. Give me one thing that you wish you could have changed about your game and what you like, why you wish you would have changed it. I don't care who goes first.
I'll go first. I know this. I wish that I had more time to talk to certain people, especially Laura. It's just for me, I was busy. I was closing several times a week, and for someone in PST, that is deadly. That is a whole 8 hours you lose of talking to someone because of your time zone. And I tried to make it work the best I could. Hell, I even did comps at work beyond my better judgment. I tried to work with it the best I could and had to work with a schedule that not only made me not be able to talk to people less, but genuinely make me not be able to do comps as good or at all. And I had to accept that and play around that major hindrance. I guess the answer is not work late, but really it's put more time, put more energy where I could with people. And I just wish I didn't fall through with that.
Minor?
That too. Try and do more game talk with people and like go on calls because I think calls are more easier to talk because you're able to like see the person and then see how you would actually get like their perception and
1 minute left.
like the hidden like text message could be like weird. And say Chloe instead of Keaton. Because that way I knew Lake would have gone that round. Yeah.
Sounds good. I just want to say again, congratulations to both of you. I hope that social games don't necessarily kill either of your chances at winning, because I know that if some of these seats were reversed, we would be hearing the exact same arguments about some of the people that also didn't have amazing social games that are now in jury. So I'm trying to keep it as strictly game related as possible. And I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure. Just absolutely fucking over my game with both of you. And overall, I had something I was gonna say and then I forgot it.
Nerd.
Right. But no.
That is your time.
Good luck.
Thank you so much, Cody. Next up is going to be Lake. Lake, the floor is yours.
Hello, both of you. Congratulations on Final 2. Just so y'all know, 2 things. 1, I am driving through potentially a bad service zone, so sorry that happens. And 2, Lexi won Big Brother Disney. All right. I think you two deserve to be here this too. You've played games that both deserve for you both to be here. I just think one game was stronger than the other. But I want to be able to see both games, both bad sides, both good sides. So I don't know what everybody's been talking about. I just kind of joined in when Cody was speaking. That is a lot. But what I want to ask you both is, what was the best thing your other person did, and what was the worst thing your other person did in this game? And I'm so sorry if that was already asked.
It wasn't. Do you have a preference on who goes first?
I do not care.
Perfect. I'll try and stumble through this first, Minor. I'll stumble. You've been asked a lot first. So I think a good thing about Minor's game is that the fact he was under the radar in a game where everyone is trying to look at a lot of people consistently. I think in a game like this, an under the radar strategy absolutely works to gather information and figure out where people are faster than others, because knowing that information can help you make way more informed decisions a lot earlier. So I do have to applaud Minor for that. And also his just ride with three the die mentality, I think benefited him really well. And if I went along with it, it puts him in a much better spot than I do. So trying to get me to ride with it, I think was absolutely his best call. I do. Yeah, I think that I can't say, and the worst thing I like, because I didn't have the best view of Minor's game, so I can't personally see something that he did negatively bad, except obviously he saved me at 9, which allowed me to do the thing I do. But how much is that me convincing my ass off and not him? I can't sit here and think of something negative, and I don't want to try and think of something negative. He can say something negative about me though. I'm happy for that.
For the good, Keaton is very good at like talking. I'm willing to do what it takes. He was able to do moves like the final 9 and the final 6. And he's amazing. Yeah, just like the game wise, like he saw this game, I feel like, in a different way than other people. And then that's what helped him navigate through the game. Negative, I guess, just voting Chloe in that Chloe Sierra vote. Just off by 1. If her circle saved her, Chloe would have gone that round. I think that's the only one I see.
Alrighty, well, trying to think of anything else I could ask. If I guess I'll ask a silly question, then I'll be out of my way. If you could form a full circle, so pick 3 other people in this jury that obviously aren't each other, what would your circle be?
Going strictly on the jury?
Yes, only jury people.
Okay, so me and you. That's easy. I still think I would still want Minor. Like I really enjoy playing with Minor. Him and I get along well in games. Like even with the screwery of myself, him and I were very helpful to each other, I believe, at times. So yeah, no, I love the play with him and would continue to do that. And then I would say Adorno. I think him and Nicebring also go really well together, and being able to try and play closer with him than I did here, having that ability would have been absolutely fantastic. I could name most of this jury and say that, but like those are the 3 that come to mind first.
I would say, yeah, Keaton, just because I mesh well with his chaos somehow. And I would say Cody. Cody was another one I felt balanced with like personal and game talk. Like it flowed amazingly, and I haven't had that in a while besides Keaton. And then the last one, I want to say Eric, mostly because just to see how his mind worked, because he did have a unique game in this game, and I thought it was interesting. So I thought Eric would be another one.
Alrighty, well, you two were both phenomenal players. You two were both very loyal to your significant others. Minor with Timmy, Keaton, me. But
True.
I enjoyed getting to see y'all both make the finale. And either way, whoever wins, it truly gives me clear skin. But congrats you two, and best of luck to whoever wins.
Okay, thank you so much, Lake. Last but not least, we are going to our final juror, Timmy. Timmy, the floor is yours.
Look, I'm here. I arrived so fast. Okay. Final 2. My fiance, rat bastard. I love you both so much. It's like unbelievable. I was gonna say those things, and neither of those things are actually bearing on anything. About the fiance bastard. But what do I want to ask that hasn't been asked already? Because I had things in mind, they were kind of answered already. Because the one thing I really wanted clarification on was Final 9 on your end, Keaton, because we did spend like I'm pretty sure that was the round we spent on call for like a while. And it happened, but I kind of got clarification on that, so we good. I'm talking out my ass now because I don't have questions. So let's just say, hmm, hmm. Yeah, I'm really actually trying here. Yeah, no, I give up. What was your favorite aspects about this new format? I don't care who goes first.
Fine, I'll go first. I enjoyed the aspect of the inner circles. I just think looking at a game and being like, okay, cool, got 3 options. It's interesting. I have to think of this game in a vastly different way than you think with anything else, because almost every avenue is closed off to you instantly. But because of that, I think it allowed me to have much more candid conversations with a lot of people than I normally would in a game like this. Like, my true feelings came out a lot more often, and I felt like just because they could, because with other people, I know that if I'm not in the end, they're on jury, so I can just kind of be honest with them, or they're out of the game, so I can just be a lot more honest with people about my feelings, and I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed the dynamic with the inner circle and the rest of the people, because you're trying to survive and have good relationship with the outside people, but then you're also trying to survive and work together with your inner circle. I just thought that dynamic was really interesting, especially with the challenges the collective come into play. It was all fun. I enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you both. Next thing's not a question, but a comment. Tell me I'm pretty.
Well, you are pretty, so yeah, you're very
I wouldn't
pretty.
matter if you just stopped at well, you are, because that's not what I asked, but then you got there.
You're beautiful.
That's not what I said. Um,
I would do 9 6 times over. That's my clarification.
Okay, I love you both so much. Congratulations on getting here. You both played amazingly. The only way I would have had it any other way was if myself and Cody were sitting there. Um, but I'm happy it's you two, genuinely and honestly. Cody, shut up. But that's all I got. Good luck with your closing speeches.
I can order the fucking Uber. Huge.
Alrighty, finalists, we're at the
Sure.
last stage. So I told you both, I messaged you how much time you used. So we're gonna start off with Keaton. Keaton, you have 5 minutes and 26 seconds.
I don't really feel like I have much more I have to say. I think I got my game across in my opening, and I think the questions answered everything that I would have wanted to ask. I think I wanted to be asked. I think the only other thing I could say is I personally felt I had a decent relationship with Evelyn. Her and I would message a lot. And I know that through at least the 3 of the people that she had to go to Final 2 with, she wanted to do it with me the most. And I thought she was talking to all of us the same, and then talking to Minor, that was far from the case. So I do believe that I had a better relationship with her than was being perceived. But that's about the only thing through anything I really have to say. Beyond that, I got to play a game that was unapologetically me for myself, and for myself to get to this point while enjoying the game that I played. I got to do some batshit crazy things and then pay off or almost kill me, but I got to play a game that I'm very happy to own as my own with everything I did, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think it's one very much deserving of a win, and I hope that the way I answered all of your questions showed that I am very much deserving of a win, because goddamn, I took some risks, but it still got me here in the end. And I am still very happy I got to go face to face with 3 people who are significantly better than comps me in this game and still manage to take it down. And I hope I can do that one more time here and take it down and be the winner of season 1. It's nothing but love, but I got an Uber to catch. See ya.
All right, Minor, you get to close us out. You have 7 minutes and 32 seconds left.
Yeah. Yeah, my game mostly was just observing with it. Yeah, observing and just seeing how the game was gonna go. I enjoyed my game. I'm proud of it. Um, I did play this game differently than people because my goal was to get me, Chloe, and Keaton to the final three. Um, yeah, I just had to play a different game, especially the way Chloe was playing and then the way Keaton was playing. I took the back seat and observed and tried to figure out what I needed to do and everything I did maybe wasn't like the best like way to handle everything, but I wouldn't change it. I feel like I'm proud of it. I played how I wanted to play and I adapted. I did what I needed to do. um yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, with that, thank you again to Minor and Keaton, and thank you to everyone so much. That ends this final jury questioning. With that, we will cut the Zoom, but we are going to give you guys some few moments. We roughly want to give you guys 10 minutes to send in your votes. So if anyone wants to think it out. And with that, yeah. So whenever you guys are ready to send in your votes, and then when we get them all, we will happily read them. Thank you all so much again for such a fun, also awesome, exciting experience for our first season.